I grew up in Long Island City.
Yeah.
All right. After the war, right, there was no television. My father died when I was very young, probably around 4.
Kevin, there are several quintessential moments in a man's life. Losing his virginity, getting married, becoming a father, and having the right girl smile at you.
My mother was, it was just my mother and me. My mother was out at work 6 days a week and 3 nights a week. I, by the time I was 7, was pretty wild on the streets and getting into a lot of trouble, but also we grew up in the shadow of the Sunnyside movie theater.
You know where Hudson's Bluff is overlooking the point? I can't beat your bike. You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
So besides getting into all the trouble I was getting into, I lived in the movie theater. And at the age of 7, I wanted to make stories. I started writing stories and drawing pictures, and I think I hadn't seen television. There was no television, only comic books, but I really wanted to tell stories. I never wanted to be in the movies.
300 joules clear. Got her.
B-Fib, don't have her. It's okay, it's fine, we'll get her.
Step me up to 360. Clear.
What the hell is going on? What'd you do to me?
I always wanted to make them, and I didn't even know people made them, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew when I saw Great Expectations, because it starts with a little boy in a graveyard, and that was an image that I could respond to because I was a little boy in a graveyard when my father died.
Asian beast.
It's an accident! It's an accident! The trigger, it's sensitive. It's okay. It's all right. It's just... It's a sensitive trigger.
Well, I was watching the golden era of Hollywood, and then also my mother worked in a little dress store, and there was a little tiny theater, which later I realized was an art house theater, but they were playing foreign films, which I mean, I was a kid. You know, they were these black and white movies with subtitles, but I was really watching De Sica and Fellini and, you know, some of the greatest, Renoir, Kurosawa.
We gotta get our hands on that child before the mob does.
Why should he talk if we can't protect him?
You talk to the feds tomorrow, I'll kill you.
Have we played enough games here?
What did Roman tell you in that car?
A man lies dead by his own hand.
And at the same time, you know, watching Elia Kazan and John Ford and, I mean, Alfred Hitchcock, I could go on. I mean, it was the great era. Billy Wilder, my favorite. And, you know, but I didn't know their names.
Right.
I just knew their stories.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight. What am I?
Please! You're as blind as a bat!
Exactly.
I never liked children's movies. I liked movies, sometimes I didn't understand them, but I always liked those movies.
Imagine the noose pulling tight around your neck. A sudden blinding jerk. She's pulled into the air and her feet and legs go kicking and they don't find the ground. The hanging branch isn't strong enough. It snaps and she falls back to the earth.
And I built my own marionette theater and my own marionettes. And then I wrote stories, and it did 2 things. It made me really popular in the neighborhood because I got invited to every birthday party and everything. But more so, I was acting out. I was actually making little movies.
It's a cold town.
I mean, we were poor. Hollywood was a million miles away. I mean, there was nothing in my life that would ever make me think I could actually get to Hollywood, California and make movies.
Mister, now I don't know what you're looking for, but so we're clear from the start. I'm straight. Congratulations. Thank you. Hey, zip it! Now I can hook you up though, you know? Okay, you name the vice, I name the price.
I mean, from the age of 15 to 30, I had 10 lives, okay? And a lot of it involved with, you know, drugs, sex, rock and roll, and insanity, and crashed and burned.
What's he doing now? He's studying. We told him to learn a few key phrases in Czech.
Well, he seems dedicated. What's he saying?
He said, I haven't had my period in 3 months.
When I got off shooting drugs in 1970, I decided that I had fucked up everything in my life, and my dream as a kid was to become a movie director, and I went around telling my friends I was going to go to Hollywood and become a movie director, and they thought I was back on drugs.
Go ahead. Whoa, what the fuck are you doing? He's coming out! Answer the phone.
I mean, I was actually working on a movie. It was my dream come true. And then, of course, the movie finishes and everybody goes away. And then I went 4 months without a job, and my plan was that I had a little Carmen Ghia convertible that a friend of mine had co-signed for, and I had enough money, if I sort of lived on pennies, to live for 6 months in a $60 a month apartment. And, but people like, Frank Perry was the first, people like Frank Perry, Paul Mazursky, Herb Ross, and then Woody. I mean, these are people who took a chance on me. And my whole life is people who took a chance on me. So, I mean, I got really lucky.
The number. What does that mean?
Waco, Texas, and the Oklahoma City bombing both happened on April 19th.
You gotta get out. It's coming for you.
And Woody, especially, really encouraged me to write. And then I wrote, and then my spec scripts sold, Sparkle and Car Wash, but they wouldn't let me direct them. And then a wonderful woman at NBC, Deanne Barkley, fought for me to direct 2 TV movies. And the second one was so critically acclaimed and won an award, and I got my first feature from that.